Well, it's a scramble, that's for sure. Um, we just started calling a lot of different opponents, looking at schedules, trying to figure out who had open dates and who was willing to come and play. And Angelo, we're friends with their staff, and definitely started looking at different options, and knew that they had an opportunity to come and play, and they were willing. So we were able to get them in that same time slot that we were going to play. I guess we were going to play Missouri on Thursday, but we were able to still get a time slot in when our facility was available.
There are a couple West Texas girls on the roster, one from Monterey. Are you familiar with them, or have you come across them during recruiting at any point?
Yeah, I mean, when I was at UTA, there's a couple of kids on the roster that we recruited, and of course, I used to coach in the Lone Star Conference, so I'm very familiar with Angelo State, and I think it's awesome. I think it's great for them to be able to come back and play on this stage, and to be able to play in front of their friends and family, and we will definitely have to guard against them wanting to play so great in front of their friends and family. I mean, that's definitely a thing that you've got to be aware of, is when you bring teams like that have local kids on their roster in to play you. But I'm happy for them because it's a great experience for them and their families.
For y'all, what's the value in playing a team from the Division II level?
Yeah, more than anything right now, it's to play. We've just got to kind of stay in a rhythm. Our next game is Baylor. Our next game is a conference game. And so we just really wanted to stay in a rhythm and be able to continue to get kids minutes. I think that I'm partial to Division II because I used to coach there. So I know that there's some really good basketball teams and some really good players at the Division II level. So I think it's just a matter of getting to actually throw the basketball up and play, number one, but just trying to stay in a rhythm too. We didn't want to have 10 days between our last game, particularly Rice and that loss before we started conference play. So I think it's really great that we're still going to get another home game in before we start.
And then when you went back and watched the Rice game, what stood out in terms of, did they do something to you guys to throw you off on offense? Or in terms of the shooting percentage, what did you see that was maybe the big issue?
I really felt like it was our defense more than anything. We have a goal to try to hold our opponents to under 57, and had we done that, we win that basketball game. So I thought they got way too many easy looks, and particularly, off of our turnovers. We had turnovers for points, and that's never good. But then they also had so many easy looks at the basket because of a defensive lapse on one or two people's parts, and I was just discouraged with the lack of adjustment during the game that our kids wouldn't do. And obviously, we talked to them and really tried to get them to understand what we were trying to take away, and it just didn't happen. But I am pleased with the fact that we kept battling, and we closed the gap twice on them, had opportunities, had some empty possessions after we closed the gap that we have already talked about and addressed, and hopefully learned a lot from it. I think it was a great learning game. I mean, you hate to take an L to learn some lessons, but at the same time, it's that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to get ready for conference play. We're trying to get ready for late February and March, and I thought that game was really beneficial for us to be able to be tested early.
It's rare on the offensive end that a team shoots better from beyond the arc than inside, but that was what happened with you guys against Rice. What was the big issue in terms of trying to find those shots in the paint and really inside the arc?
Yeah, well, they packed it in. I mean, they definitely packed it in and tried to make us shoot it from the perimeter. And it's not a bad game plan. I mean, it's clearly not a bad game plan. I didn't think that we did a great job of executing our offenses or being patient enough to try to open it up for us. And we didn't knock down shots early. If you go back to even the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, we had some great looks, and had we knocked those down early, I think it would have been obviously a different ball game because it would have loosened them up a lot quicker and a lot sooner within the game. But that's that's kind of what happens. I mean, I think whenever you miss early, sometimes you can get in your head a little bit and start now then rushing shots or taking bad shots or just not relying on your offense to continue to get you good shots. And I just think we fell into that trap a little bit.
Anything else?
Sure, I got another one if no one else has one. Coach, in terms of when you play on Wednesday, what's the best case scenario right after what you would have seen on the court that would make you the happiest going into your first conference game?
Well, I want to see us really stick to our game plan. I want to see us really defend and to limit second chance opportunities. I want to see us, execute what we talk about in practice. And then obviously offensively, I want us to get people involved. I want us to help each other score. The last 2 days, we've really worked on trying to read defenses better and read mismatches and making the extra pass or setting a better screen or going a little deeper into the shot clock to try to get a better opportunity to shoot the basketball so that we can have success. And I think that we actually did that a little bit in the Rice game in the second half when we kind of made our run. I thought that we took some better shots, and obviously when it goes in the basket, that helps. But the last 2 days have been really productive. We've had really high intense practices. We've gotten the kids' attentions about some details, and they've wanted to buy into that. They've wanted to get better. They aren't happy with that loss either, and they certainly want to be prepared going into the conference play. So I think just if we can I just really want us to execute our game plan and help each other and offensively and defensively really set the tone.
You like conference play this early? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alexis.
I was saying, just with getting more girls back, how does that even factor into maybe just finding that rhythm? Andrea obviously being one that came back this past week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it certainly helps. I mean, I think that this game is going to allow us to go deeper into our bench and get some quality minutes for some kids and not have to play kids as long. And that's one of the things we want to do. We want to get to where, we can have a little bit fresher legs, particularly late in the game when it's tight. And so I think that's certainly going to help us. It's just been a weird year and trying to get kids back and then getting them in shape and get them reps. And we talked about today as a team, there's not one kid on our team that has played in my program before. And so it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of understanding one another, who to look for at what certain times, where we want the basketball, what kind of decisions we want to make during the game. And I think that is just going to be a work in progress. And we're silly to think, and I have to remind myself of this, I'm silly to think that, everything is going to be really fluid and sharp looking the third game into the season when we started in late August. I mean, because that is what it is. So I've got to be patient with that as well, and we got to keep our kids focused and positive and help them just keep working and showing baby steps, each day.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.